Howdy, y'all. It's Cody from the Keepers of Nerddom, joined by my friend, Will.
Hello.
And what we're going to be doing today is talking through the best and worst of Fallout. But what we're going to do is use each game and the show to kind of give us some concepts to talk about bigger picture-wise about that, but also, in a way, evaluate what does each game, as much as we know, bring to the table. So just a quick summary, like what are the things that you've played and seen?
I have played through Fallout 4 in its entirety numerous times.
Awesome.
Fallout 76, I'm currently having a playthrough. I picked it up when it was, pretty fresh and just newly released.
Yeah.
Didn't like it because the game was in a terrible condition. And then now that I've seen the show, I've picked it up again, and the game is very fun now. If you were wanting to get into it and you just didn't know when or how, I would say now is the time to do so.
Okay.
For sure.
And you're going to have to talk about that one because that is a game I have not touched yet, and I own it,
Absolutely.
but I don't have the access on Xbox right now to play it, and it's okay. I'll be fine. I'll get to it eventually.
We will get there because we're starting from the very beginning.
And so you've touched one other game.
New Vegas, a
Okay.
little bit, and by a little bit, I mean I played 30 to 45 minutes on one of my friend's playthroughs on his PC because I'm a PlayStation user, and in order for me to play New Vegas, I have to buy some PlayStation prescription that allows me to play older games. And
Really?
even then, I don't want to play the base game because the base game is just kind of rough.
Yeah,
I would like to get a gaming PC and get mods that would actually allow me to enjoy the game to its full potential.
We'll talk through New Vegas, but
yeah, for sure.
And you've seen the show, and I've seen the show.
Yes.
And so my interactions with Fallout, I have played Fallout 1 all the way through, and I think I have played through some of Fallout 2, but it's hard for some reason. It's just gone from my memory if I have, and it bothers me. But I remember the Gek. So, and I'm like, is that because I remember it from Fallout 3 or what? I'm not sure. Tactics, I have messed with just a little bit. Brotherhood of Steel, I have not. We'll talk a little bit about that because I was trying to understand it better today. And then I have played through Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4. I haven't touched 76 and watched the show. So let's run through and let's talk about the best and worst, and we'll kind of try to have the games guide some of it. The original games by Interplay were, the original one by Interplay, and I think a company underneath Interplay made the second one. Top-down, I believe, isometric gameplay, RPG, turn-based, completely and entirely. There was no, I'm going to fire and hold down the button to fire and keep moving as they're firing at me. It was all just turn-based. The best thing about this game was decision-making and storytelling, and I think that's the best thing about Fallout in general.
The strategy
is first off the storytelling.
Yes,
just when the storytelling is on point, and even when you get down into a vault or a building and you're just reading terminals or you're finding just notes, all of a sudden you're invested in the story of people that haven't been here in the game for 200 years, and yet you're like, now I want to know what happened in this building, in this hospital, in this library, in this place.
Right.
And that's beautiful. And then you said strategy, best thing of there, strategy is so important. I when I first played Fallout 1, I took a perk that gave me an extra 15% damage, but then I couldn't target body parts to cripple for combat, which was super, super important because otherwise you get tore up. And I didn't realize that, and I actually had to restart the entire game because of that. And I was like, why is this making it so bad? And then I looked up walkthroughs, and they're like, you can't do that because you'll ruin the game, because then you can't target the eyes, so that way their aim is off, so that way you survive.
Right.
Or you can't target their leg to cripple the Deathclaw before it gets to you. The thing that I think really shines out in this game for best thing is the idea of VATS was there at the very beginning. And
Yeah.
we were talking a little bit about that already, that VATS has changed over time. So once it went to a 3D game, obviously now it's not just real time, like strategy games. You can also fire in the moment. VATS changes a bit, and actually VATS in Fallout 3 in New Vegas is you pause the game, you make decisions on where you're targeting the person, and then you let the computer AI run through the algorithm. Do you have 95% chance to target the limb? Well, 5% could come up, but 95% of the time it won't. You'll be fine, and you'll hit the limb, and
Yes.
they'll get hurt, and or enough shots crippled. Fallout 4 changed it to slow-mo, and then what did 76 change it to?
76 changed it to real time. So you have to make these decisions in real time as they're attacking you.
Why? Why is it like that?
Because it's an online multiplayer game. I feel like if it was like a PvP situation and you were trying to use VATS on someone else and you just get to stop time,
Yeah.
I just don't feel like that's fair to the other person.
It would
at
pause
this-
everything in an awkward way.
Right.
So it's a good point. I think, unfortunately, that's probably the worst version, to me at least, not having played 76 of VATS, just because because I didn't enjoy Fallout 4's version of VATS, because if I want to just enjoy the concept of strategy, to pause the game to really go, you are taking a moment, but also does Fallout 3 New Vegas's VATS take you out of the realism in a way? Well, yes, because everything's paused. Whereas VATS in Fallout 4 is letting you just process a little bit before they still get to act.
And I do kind of like the VATS in Fallout 4 because if they're hiding behind something and you have like a 26% chance to hit them, you can still wait for them to move out, and then all of a sudden that goes up to like a 90% chance, and then you take your shot, and then
That's true.
You're
That's true.
You're saving ammunition, and that's a better strategy to wait for them to pop up from behind cover to try to make an attack on you,
Right.
and that's when you strike. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah. So in ways like Fallout 4 has some of the best parts of it. For me, the worst would be 76, just because I want my VATS to be used in a certain way. And also playing Fallout 1 makes me appreciate what VATS was.
Right.
Because that's all you had, and action points were literally the only thing you could use. Whereas in Fallout 3 and New Vegas Onward, your action points don't do anything when you fire your rifle on your own.
Right.
And so VATS was like a separate thing that was very important. And so I just have a very different appreciation. And you may disagree with me, and I totally get it.
I don't necessarily disagree. It can be annoying. There's a bit of a learning curve, but once you get the hang of it, the VATS in 76 really aren't that bad. Just as long as you know how to react fast enough and how to target fast enough, you can make it work very well.
Yeah. And I think that's the interesting thing, too. We've always watched with games that everything's just speeding up and trying to go faster and look cooler and more epic. It's just an interesting thing.
I kind of like with my analogy for why it is the way that it is. It's like if any of you have played Grand Theft Auto Online, when you pause the game, nothing else around you pauses. It's just you pausing, because it's not like you should be able to stop time when you need to pause. So just like, Fallout 76 is honestly kind of adds like the realism of it, because I feel like if you're using VATS in real life, that time isn't just going to magically come to a stop.
Right.
It's still going to be real time, but you might have a second or two to make a split decision on, okay, do I want to shoot the leg or the arm that's holding the weapon, or go for the head to disorient my target.
Right.
So it does work.
Yeah.
You just got to learn how to do it correctly.
As Todd Howard says, it just works.
Right.
I think the worst thing, especially in Fallout 1, is the difficulty of it. I don't remember if it had a difficulty slider or not, but I don't think it did, but it may have. I don't know. But if you took the wrong perks or made the wrong decisions, all of a sudden everything got insanely hard. And unless you had saves to back up, which you should, it was a bit shocking and jarring about what you would find.
Right.
So the worst thing about that really was just you didn't quite understand mechanics until it was sometimes too late. And decisions were made, and that was 3 levels ago or 10. And all of a sudden you've got a problem. I will say, though, most of what we see in Fallout later on in a lot of ways is there. Like the idea of power armor and laser pistols and laser rifles and all this stuff. So some pretty epic things. All right, next thing. Fallout 2, I've just messed with a little bit, so I can't speak a ton to it. It's very similar to Fallout 1 as far as gameplay concepts. Still the top-down isometric gameplay, decision-making. I think now one of the best things about Fallout 1, 2, and 3, and I think he's in one of the other games as well, its storytelling purposes is Harold the Ghoul.
Yeah.
And you see him in Fallout 3 as this tree that started growing on his head because he got exposed to FEV virus has overtaken him and basically made him live forever as part of also his ghoulishness, but also the tree and him have melded into one, and then he's become like this paradise. And I just appreciate, like, that's something amazing because there's this recurring concept. Another recurring thing is aliens in Fallout. And Fallout 3, New Vegas 4, I don't know if 76 has them or not. I have no idea. Is that a thing?
On the aliens on 4?
Fallout 76, does that have alien stuff?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. So, and maybe it will later.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Like, I love that's a lore thing that they went, you know what? Let's give these storytelling things. Again, though, Fallout 2 it really is the focus for me. Like you said, Enclave, we get this already back then. That's crazy. And then,
like, if there's nothing in there that I'd want, then why would I want to go up to it and open it, you know?
Right. Yep. Okay, so it is one of those things. It's nice to know what's in it, but it's also reality to me doesn't make sense. You're like, you walk up, and we've seen this with several things. Did Skyrim do it too? I think they did. And it drives me crazy because I'm like, I don't even need to look in it, and I already know. It's okay. It's just, it annoys me because the mystery of opening it is exciting. Also, which one's your favorite, lockpicking or hacking? I can't remember if Fallout 1 had...
I really like lockpicking. I mean, easiness level, definitely lockpicking.
Yeah.
I think it just requires a little bit of finesse and a good feel for it. Like, I'm great at lockpicking in Fallout 4. Like, I can pick almost anything.
And is that still the turn the bobby pin?
Yeah, turn the bobby pin, screwdriver.
Okay,
and
same thing. I just haven't played it in a while.
Same with, like, Fallout 76. Like, I like lockpicking a lot. Hacking, I'm not very good at. There is a way to learn how to hack in the Fallout games.
Yeah,
I just haven't learned how to do it because, like, there'll be like a likeness at the bottom, and apparently that's how many letters of the word you just picked are in the answer itself.
Yeah.
So most of the time, whenever I would hack something, I would honestly just kind of use my basic context clues and put a word that kind of matches the vibe of the surroundings of the terminal. Like, if I was at a military base and there were some words like strong or defense or, you know, something like that, or like blood or sword, like, I would pick those.
That's fine.
And most of the time that would work. Huh. So it's not really like a super educated guess, but
makes me wonder if it's different in 76.
Worth a shot.
Because the older games...
I haven't done much hacking in 76, though.
Okay. Because Fallout 3 in New Vegas, if you went out of the computer and went back in it, the password was completely different. And you're like, crap. So you had to, like, restart. But then you got your chances
when you
restored.
go back out and go back in, the password options for hacking are different. But I think the password remains the same.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
I don't think so in Fallout 3 from memory serves, but it could be different in the newer games.
Yeah.
I always enjoy the hacking game because once you understand that there's little things you can search for that will remove dud passwords, then everything gets simpler. But just a fun concept. Brotherhood of Steel. Watched gameplay of it, never played it because honestly,
I haven't even really seen anything of Brotherhood of Steel. I really don't know what it's about.
Dude, it looked terrible. It's top down, but in a weird angle to where you can't see much, and it's not a strategy game like they used to be of turn based. It's a looter shooter game, and that's it. And so it feels kind of like Fallout, but just shooting stuff, and it's a lot of repetitive things.
Well, then no wonder why no one talks about
it. It's not a game that people go back to. It's not a good game. Enough said, just that it's repetitive, and I think that's one of the worst things that sometimes Fallout does is they just basically go after a while. It almost seems like sometimes in games they get bored and they go, just throw some more super mutants here, more rad scorpions, more of the same. And I think that's a challenging thing. Fallout 3, definitely, it's Bethesda updating everything. It's into a 3D and a completely different thing, but they also brought back VATS, so that way you do have some similarities, but they also used the lore and the concepts and just built upon that. This is one of my favorite Fallout games. And it still is to this day. And I'm excited to finish this one. And honestly, to play New Vegas and Fallout 4, but I probably have to go to Fallout 4 first. Just I want to do base building really badly. I just want to do base building.
Base building is annoying to learn, but once you get it down, it's so easy and it's so fun.
Yeah.
But you just got to spend the time of just painstakingly throwing some stuff together and seeing how it works. But once you get the mechanics of it down, you're home free.
Is base building for you best or worst? Kind of deal.
In Fallout 4? Or
Fallout 4, yeah.
Fallout 4 base building is decent, I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes there are some things that I wish I could do differently, but, with all these, workshop mods and stuff that they added to the game for the DLC, I mean, it's gotten a lot better.
Right.
But base game building,
yeah. For me, it was one of the best things because once you understood the system and connected all of your bases, you shared resources everywhere, so you could be across the map, even on survival mode.
You can set up supply chains in between settlements. I've never done that before.
And that's what it was, connections.
I've never gotten that far personally with my settlements. I would always just kind of set them up and make sure they have what they need and have defenses and kind of just let them chill. But I've never set up supply chains in between.
Mm-hmm. So where it got really interesting.
I really need to do that this playthrough.
Yeah. Where it got interesting with that, amazing, was then you could go clear across the map, find your resources from the base you start at the very beginning of the game.
Right.
Once you've got your supply chains going. And also, they're making money potentially for you over time because you can grab purified water that you can then sell to the vendors in the settlements.
I do like the vendors in the settlements. They bring in a pretty decent amount of caps.
Yeah.
And brings in people around that sometimes want to stick around and help and sometimes don't.
Right.
So it's jobs and money. And, I mean, who doesn't like that?
Absolutely. And another thing that's a fascinating side piece to that's kind of interwoven is companions. I think they're always the best part of it, especially you can Fallout 4 had some fascinating companions and great stories, that extra things you could do with them. But we saw that, I can't remember if Fallout 1 had them or not. I think there was points where you had teammates.
Yeah.
But just a cool concept to really have companions that come alongside you. And Dogmeat always is the best.
Absolutely.
He's the bestest boy.
Dogmeat is awesome. Even though when I'll try to walk through a hallway full of lasers and disarm them one by one, it just waltzes down the hallway and triggers everything.
And at that moment, you realize as he turns around, as everything's exploding, you're like, Dogmeat has now died. You also go, he still is the bestest boy.
He doesn't die, though.
Yeah, he'll come back. Well, in Fallout 3, he does.
You get hit by a mini nuke, like from an exploding car,
Yeah,
and be like incapacitated for a minute.
yeah.
You don't even have to give him a sim pack. If you just wait like 30 seconds or 45 seconds, he's back to full health.
Well, so that's the funny thing about Fallout 4. They did that, but in Fallout 3 and New Vegas, your companions could just permanently die.
Oh, wow.
And Dogmeat could permanently die, but you could also get a special perk once you met Dogmeat in Fallout 3. And I haven't even met him in my playthrough this time around because I just don't care because I'm just doing other things. That you can get a perk to have, it's called Puppies. That if Dogmeat dies, you get to just have a new Dogmeat spawn. So Dogmeat's just a weird piece of what can happen in several of the different games.
Completely invulnerable to everything.
Yeah, in the later games. The best companion stuff that I think has ever been added, though, is the Automatron DLC stuff in Fallout 4.
That's cool.
I love being able to build my own robot. Coolest thing I've ever seen in Fallout.
If you think that's cool, in Fallout 4, the Creation Club also released something that you can pretty much set up a power armor to be autonomous.
Okay, that's cool.
And follow you around and listen to your commands. So you pretty much just have like, it's like when Tony Stark calls in a suit to be like in sentry mode, and it like walks around on its own and talks to people and like defends itself and fires on hostiles. It's really cool to watch.
That is cool.
Like just watching your XO1 armor just rush into battle and just do stuff.
Right.
And you're not even in it.
Very cool.
It's very strange.
I like that. So Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, we can go ahead and just... Oh, I skipped New Vegas. I did. Anyway, so Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, I love their leveling system. I think it's the better leveling system that's really based in a lot of ways on the Fallout 1 and 2 system. And then Fallout 4 breaks it all and does not have a good leveling system of the perks only instead of any points. And you can just keep leveling up, and there's no cap. It's weird.
Right.
I don't like that system. It's dumb. It's very dumb. But they have a great leveling system in Fallout 3 and 4. Fallout 3 and New Vegas, and then it gets broken in Fallout 4. Another thing that really is fascinating is there is some crafting in Fallout 3 and New Vegas, and more so in New Vegas, but Fallout 4 goes to the whole next level of crafting.
Right. Because
all the modding, that they call it modding, and it's just a whole nother level, and they focus on that, but they took something out that I don't actually appreciate, and even though I hate it.
What's that?
They took away, Fallout 3 and New Vegas have degradation of weapons. So you have to always have backup weapons to repair your other weapons. And as much as it's frustrating, it's also important for gameplay you have to be mindful of what you're packing to repair the good stuff that you have. Like I have a named shotgun in Fallout 3 called the Terrible Shotgun. It has a wider spread, but it does way more damage if all the pellets hit. So when you're up close, it's crazy strong, but it degrades really fast. Something about the shotgun it has no health. So you have to have other combat shotguns to repair it. And I appreciate that. I actually...
is it like explosive rounds?
No, it's just more pellets come out when it fires. That's all. All right. We're playing the game right now of can Will make it?
I can't. Trust me, folks.
I'm
here.
Yeah.
I'm listening and I'm contributing even though my eyes are closed.
You got this, man.
Yes.
New Vegas really does, though, take the story to the next level. And I'm sorry I forgot the picture for it because it is truly amazing in that way. And it really lets you just suss out the politics of California in this universe. Really, really cool. Fallout 4. Here's the thing about Fallout 4. It has some of the most amazing customization and settlement building and robots and stuff to do. But then you get to the story.
Lots of stuff to do.
Yeah. We also have the mod, the Creation Club is what you called it. we'll continue on here.
Jeez.
We have the Creation Club, which is really neat, so we can get other mods and things into the game, which is cool. And it's cool too because you get like World War II type weapons from the real world into Fallout 4. But Fallout 4 breaks the perk system, like leveling and stuff, not good. Storyline is not as strong, but it's more cinematically epic.
True.
That's the weird thing about Fallout 4. It's like, it's not as good of a story, but the little stories, like the little places you just find, they're funny and interesting.
As with all Fallout games.
Huh?
So as with all Fallout games.
Yes. So Fallout 4, it's like I have a love-hate relationship with it because it does so much right, and Power Armor's really cool in that one because it's actually like something special versus the older games where you had to have like a perk in Fallout 3 and New Vegas to wear it, but like from training. But beyond that, the Power Armor wasn't necessarily different than other things, and you couldn't like mod the stuff like you can in Fallout 4, and also legendary items in Fallout 4. Just there are really cool things in Fallout 4. It's just the main story is bigger and more bombastic, but not as good. That's
right.
all. We come to yours, Will. You gotta put that energy in, man.
Fallout 76. Where do I even begin?
Just give us real quick the best thing and the worst thing. Let's try to hit those at least.
The best thing I think is just honestly, I really, really, really love the map.
The map
is so big. That's so cool. Pretty. It's 25 years after the war, so things are still pretty fresh.
Yeah.
There are so many places to go. You just get lost in it for a while. And so many quests to do. Like, you're never bored.
Yeah.
There's always something for you to be doing.
That's good. Real quick, you just remind me of some of the worst things in 3 in New Vegas. Fallout 3 is very drab and has like one color, and it's like this dark greenish gray for most of the game. And then New Vegas has like dirty brown because you're in the desert.
Right.
And also Cazadors are awful and they shouldn't exist ever in anything.
Yeah, I wish I had like a clip of me playing Fallout 76, but like.
So what's the worst?
Crazy.
What's the worst thing about 76?
Oh. The worst thing. It's really hard to determine because there's a lot of annoying things like the hunger and thirst constantly and having to keep up with that.
So that's just
like
always
when
on?
I first started the game, the hunger and thirst were so bad that I had to spend pretty much every waking moment of the game finding something to eat and a drink.
So that's just always on in that game?
Yeah, it was just always...
Huh.
It always frustrated me because I was like, this game is unplayable. I can never find enough food to eat or water to drink. And now it seems pretty plentiful.
Right. Huh. That's interesting.
Finding really cool guns that you want to use, but having them be level locked until you reach that level so you can't even use them. Which kind of sucks. But then again, they did kind of fix this problem a little bit where you can go to Legendary Exchange.
Okay.
You can drop off a weapon in this mechanism, pull the lever, and it gives you like a legendary core or legendary modules. And then you can go into your weapons that you really like and you can apply a 1, a 2, or a 3-star legendary perk to your weapon or armor. It's a very strange system. It would probably take a long time for me to explain all of it.
It's okay.
But like, it gets kind of annoying, but at the same time, pretty cool that you can go to the yacht and just look for what you need.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
A side note to that, and this was the reason I never played Fallout 76, was because you got it initially and you were like super excited, and then you within 2 weeks you're like, something's wrong.
It wasn't even something's wrong. It was everything was wrong.
And that
All
right
the
there.
NPCs were robots. There were not a single human person there. It just felt very bland, very empty.
And now it's not that.
But now it's the complete opposite. They did a whole 180.
Yeah.
The game is crazy fun now.
And so that's an unfortunate thing about video games now, that often AAA titles come out unfinished.
Right.
And it breaks things, and then people don't get into them. And thankfully, they've come back to Fallout 4 and 76 because of the show. And it has good and bad there, too. So that's kind of the last thing here. Fallout show. Best thing for me, and this is going to sound really silly in a way, and it shouldn't be the best thing, but I think it's Jim's limbs.
Jim's limbs?
Jim's limbs, the thing that they use on the scientist guy to give him a leg to walk on again.
Right.
That it's not been in Fallout lore before, but it felt like it fit, and it was funny because it was so ridiculous and over the top that it made perfect sense in Fallout concept. That we're just going to have basically a little engine that's going to chop into your leg and not totally make you bleed out, which he does anyway. It's crazy. So just things like that. Like, I appreciate when they're continuing the lore in good ways.
Right.
Telling good story.
They say the lore pretty well. Sorry, the lore pretty well. The attention to detail even on 76 is really good as well.
Yeah. And I think the show, there's are some moments that they've had to go back and clarify, even Todd Howard, that some things written on like whiteboards in the show about when things happened aren't quite accurate. So even they went, we got off a little bit, but I appreciate that they're willing to address it. And that means in season 2, which has already been renewed for season 2, it's going to work through those things in a better way. And I think they've realized with Amazon that if you give people what they want, which is a good story that makes sense and is faithful to the world, it will work. What I will say, though, is obviously the Fallout franchise is known for violence because everybody after the nuclear apocalypse that's on the surface degrades down to just base instincts and terrible language and just violence. And so it makes sense that would be up there. And so there's a part of it that I get, but also then you see the Vaults are very opposite of that. They're very polite, very kind, very nice. And the one thing that I just really think was the worst thing they could have done was just be the fact that they were on an online streaming service. They could get away with showing more. And I just, I wish they wouldn't do stuff like that. It's not worth it. It's not helpful. There's no need for it, and has not been a thing that Fallout has usually, that I can even think of at all, shown in any extensive, awkward way. And I just wish they wouldn't have done that, because it's kind of like they're going against the lore in a way when they show just inappropriate things just because they can go, we can get away with it. We're going to do it. We don't care. So I think overall the biggest thing is story is so key with everything that we watch, that we play. And if we don't have good story, we really struggle with so many of these shows or games. Which Fallout is your favorite? What's the best and worst thing about Fallout? Let us know down in the comments below. I might answer you. Will might be asleep when he tries to answer you. I'm not sure. And I've been Cody from the Keepers of Nerddom. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll talk to you again. Bye, y'all.